Well, I got to say they crossed the line here. Check out the story from NBC News.
They did.
International Cat Federation bans Russian felines from competitions. Just say cats.
We surrender. It is time to give up.
Federation
We cannot keep
International
doing this.
Feline,
It is too much.
which hosts over 700 cat shows a year, said it cannot just witness these atrocities and do nothing.
What?
Look at these cats.
No.
It's like, okay, I can understand the sentiment. I can't witness these atrocities and not do anything. But like that's the thing you chose to do. That wasn't your only option.
You did the Russian. So what if an American is a Russian cat? Is that the issue, or is
That's
it like? Or is it like
Kick him into the street.
Get out of here.
And some poor
We're dog
60-year-old.
people, too.
Sorry, Oliver.
Some poor 60-year-old librarian has been waiting to show her Russian blue all year, and it's like she's from Idaho, and now she's like, "What? What do you mean I can't go to the cat show?" It's like you're a communist.
Oh wait. So
sympathizer.
it's not even that.
I
Wait.
just have
Look at that. No
Wait, so
cat
it's-
bred in Russia.
No cat. So you could be an American.
Oh, okay.
Or
Thank
imported.
goodness.
They think
Or
they're genetically
Or no,
engineering.
it said
Oh, right.
imported or registered in any way.
But what
So-
if that cat is a citizen in another country?
Bred in
Why is
Russia.
where they came from so important to these
That's right.
people?
This is an
Those
Australia.
cats
Sounds
are
racist.
just seeking a better outcome, a better
Exactly.
life for themselves.
They're refugees. They're being
For
banned.
their family.
Exactly.
Have they been bugged? Is that the problem?
just gonna
Yeah.
ban them out.
Banned,
Path
bugged.
to citizenship for those cats.
I love this timeline.
They're just dreamers. They're
It
just
is kind of
dreamers.
amazing.
They're dream lines.
They're
see,
meowers.
Feel
these
for the
people
cats.
like to
Hold
say,
on.
You almost got me on that one.
The
You
group
almost-
said the new
very close.
regulation
Very
will
close.
last through May 31st and will be reviewed as and when necessary.
Seems
Like, is
very
any of this
necessary.
necessary?
Yeah.
I don't understand
Preserve
what
democracy.
So like,
it's
all
but
about?
this is war hysteria. This
Yeah.
is the same thing as the mass formation psychosis we heard about during
Yeah.
COVID.
Yeah.
This is people being like, Russia, I need to put a Ukrainian flag in my Twitter account and ban the cats.
Oh my goodness. There's another sentence here I really have to read. On top of that, our Ukrainian fellow feline fanciers are desperately trying to take care of their cats and other animals in these trying circumstances. There are far greater concerns there. Far greater concerns. And say like, and we're going to retaliate by banning Russian cats?
Yeah, we're
Look, it's like, wait,
feline
stop,
fancier?
stop, shh.
Wait.
The announcement is the latest blow to Russia, which has been hit with sanctions by a number of countries.
They're reeling.
What if you own
I
a
mean,
Russian
I think,
cat? Do
dude,
you have to
after
get rid of
this,
it?
I
Vladimir
Makes no sense.
Putin is sitting in his chair stroking his cat, and he's like,
That's right.
he was like,
What do
no,
you mean,
yet.
What do you
hope he
mean
sees
she
this
cannot
article.
compete?
He looks at his shelf and he's got all of his awards from the cat show.
Mayakoshka, Mayakoshka.
I am a feline fancier. This article.
There was great alliteration in that
Touches
sentence.
me.
you
Yeah,
read.
I got it. I'll give him.
A
Mayakoshka.
lot of alliteration.
Did you find out if you have a Russian cat? Are you
Mayakoshka
now?
Krasiva.
If it was,
Yeah,
if
you
it
have
was
to-
bred in Russia,
Enemy
They're
of
gonna
the
come
state.
take it? Is
No,
it-
no, no.
Wait,
Yeah.
bred in Russia or born in Russia?
bred or
Both, bred or
Same
imported.
thing.
Because well, no, the
No,
cat could have
no,
been
it's
bred
not.
there, but then could have given birth in another country.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
thought
If the cat
Are you suggesting
was
anchor
impregnated
ki-
in
are
a way,
you-
I'd say an anchor kitty.
Are you
yeah.
suggesting anchor kitties?
It's
Yes.
anchor kitties.
Anchor
exactly.
kitties.
Yeah.
Oh,
I see
you're
what
smart,
Country.
Seamus.
Yeah.
We've gone from in 20 minutes. We've gone from the nuclear firefight to anchor kitties.
Yeah, the
Anchor
most important
kitties.
news comes
Fastest
second.
switch ever.
There's a
Look, I think it's
levity.
This is tough because this will be ripping families apart if it goes through.
well,
cat
but
thing?
along
Are
the
you
same
going to
lines,
separate?
there's a great restaurant in D.C. that is a Russian restaurant. I'm almost reluctant to say the name because I don't want to give them negative.
Well, they smashed the windows.
But they smashed the windows.
Yeah.
And a friend of
Oh,
mine,
that's
a friend of
insane.
mine ate there last night and said, "I've been coming to this restaurant for like the 20 years I've lived in D.C. and it is a Russian restaurant, but they're Americans. They just have Russian heritage and they make Russian food. And now there's like a boycott the restaurant. And they must be like, you put me through friggin' COVID, and now you're putting me through this. Like, I just make borscht.
Yeah.
How am I responsible for this?
My response was when I saw FIFA had banned Russian clubs and teams or whatever from the game. I was just like, it's the stupidest thing ever. And I said, you know what? The Russian people are to blame to all of this. They should be punished.
I
You know
think
real
ban
quick,
them from
real-
FIFA.
real- hold on. The funny thing is, when I tweeted, I despise appeals to emotion.
Right.
yes.
The left went nuts.
Hey, you were trending for
I
like
followed
for like 2 days.
And
I saw that. That
I
was
was
great.
specifically referring to the translators, more than one. There were 3 different translators who cried while translating. And that was the viral story. Of course, I tweeted that because I tweeted about it a bunch of different times. And I made videos about it. but that doesn't play well when they want to like criticize. Like, it's the weirdest thing ever because I've been very like pro Zelensky and like been supportive of Ukraine the entire time. So I don't know what they're trying to smear. But when they go nuts on this, and then I tweet we jokingly, because they're all basically like me just screwing around. When I say we must punish Russian Americans, or my favorite tweet was, I said, "Whoa, how do we know that Russian Americans aren't secretly working for Putin or worse, Trump?" No, that did not make any of them angry. Or when I said punish Russian civilians, like that didn't make anybody angry. But how dare you question
appeal to emotion?
The sobbing translators. Okay, well, y'all just banned cats, so you guys have lost your minds.
What gets me about removing the Russian teams from the video game sports is like, okay, I understand trying like World War II, we put the Japanese citizens in internment camps hardcore. I don't know if it was the right or wrong move. Maybe they were spies, maybe did the right thing. But like, I used to play Civilization, and Hitler's never been ever led any of the German countries. If you ever play Civilization, you play Germany, Hitler has never been in the game. They've eradicated the memory of that man from the video game. Still, 80 years later, they're still eradicating the memory. So like, yeah, the Russian teams are gone from sports this year. What if in 80 years there's still like pretending Russia never existed? It's effing terrifying.
Well, so here's what gets me on all of these, and it's deplatforming, cancel it. We're trying to use cancel culture, right? The same way that to affect Russia, but I don't think they kind of understand. Like this was a planned operation. This wasn't like Putin woke up one day and said, "Oh, we're just going to do this." Did
you see the report that apparently Xi Jinping said, "Don't invade until after the Olympics are over"?
Maybe. I mean,
there's a lot of propaganda.
I'm skeptical, but at the same time, I think this is something that was planned out for months in advance. I guarantee you that Putin went around to all of like the top oligarch, anyone who has any actual sway within Russia, and explained, this is what's going to happen next year. So you need to set up your stuff however you want to set it up. And Daniel, you know this. These guys have stuff off the books in every country around the world. It's not in their names. It's not in their kids' names. Yeah, you can take their yachts because it's them. But they've got mansions you don't know about. They've got planes you don't know about. And they're going to use them and they're going to be fine. So these sanctions aren't going to hurt anyone important in Russia. You're going to hurt the regular people. You're going to hurt the disabled athletes that want to go to the Paralympics. You're going to go after the oncology researchers that are trying to help people with cancer in Russia, right? You're going to hurt all of those regular people behind the scenes. That's number one. And number two is you're going to turn all of them not against Putin. They're going to be against you because you put the sanctions on.
What would you, if you had been the president when this happened last week, what would have been an adequate response?
Well, I mean, at the same time,
cancer.
You have to go back and say, we responded to escalation with more escalation, right? So we've been ratcheting up things as they've been ratcheting up things, and so from the start, you should have not been doing that. That's always the wrong move, obviously.
I think we needed Biden to have, because we knew the invasion was coming. Biden should have had a conversation with Putin a long time ago, and he did, and he should have said, if you hit Ukraine, I will hit Moscow. Oh, I'm sorry, Joe Biden. He should have been like, come on, man. Come on. No, the joke is
if you go get those Iranians.
Donald Trump reportedly told Putin, if you try to take Ukraine, I will hit Moscow.
Yeah.
He said all those beautiful golden turrets will be destroyed.
Yep.
Do you remember
my favorite, though, is he told Xi the same thing. If you go after Taiwan, I'll hit Beijing.
Yeah.
And the story was that both Xi and Putin were like kind of shocked that someone would tell them, I will kill millions of civilians if you engage in regional conflict.
Well, remember, Trump timed the original Syria strikes for when Xi Jinping was meeting at Mar-a-Lago over dinner. And there's a story that as cake was being served, they leaned in and told Xi Jinping that the strikes were taking place.
That's right.
Yeah. But do you remember when Biden just met with Putin a couple months ago, he came back and he said, we talked about 7 things that I told him were off limits. I mean, right. Then and there, I was like, well, what if I'm number 8? So 7 things that you can't hit. 7 American assets. We went through 7 things that he can't touch. That was after the cyber attack that closed Colonial Pipeline. So right off the bat, Putin, I mean, if anything, he watched the State of the Union, he felt more emboldened.
I was going to say, I didn't hit any of those 7 things, so I'm good to go.
And if you watch the Super Bowl halftime show, he's like, they don't deserve to live anymore. Like we should just invade the West completely.
I think people need to recognize that Vladimir Putin is passionate and he's old, which means he's got to make whatever move he's going to make now because he's almost 70 years old. So I think Russia is going to win what they want to win. We already have these crazy stories about NATO's involved. They're 100% involved. They're just playing weird semantic games. Latvia has apparently voted to allow their citizens to join the fight on the Ukrainian side. Now, how is that not declaring war? It's so ridiculous. Well, our military isn't involved. We're just sending waves of our own citizens with guns into Ukraine to shoot you. That to me is absurd. Plus, you've got the arming, you've got the resources, we'll put it that way, being given to Ukraine. So it's ridiculous that we're at this point where it's like, well, if NATO gets involved, they're involved.
Yeah. So this is we're back under. This is something that I've noticed. Kind of zipping around on Twitter, reading a lot of stuff, that we seem to have kind of forgotten the sort of rules of the Cold War, like the reason that we don't go directly bullet to bullet. We don't fire upon Russian assets, and Russian assets don't fire on us. So we have these proxy wars, right? We had Afghanistan throughout the 70s and late 70s, early 80s. Then we had the Vietnam War prior to that, where again, Russia, of course, was supporting the Viet Cong and supporting the NVA. And then we got involved in the South. But Russia didn't actually send, they may have had a couple advisors, but they didn't send forces down. Same deal with Korea, right? During the Korean War, Russia didn't get directly involved. They had some air assets, but they sent China in. They had North Korea, but they didn't go in themselves. Same idea for us. We don't want to get into this shooting war with another nuclear power, so we end up doing all these proxy wars. And essentially, if you're looking at it from Russia's perspective, they view the current regime, the government of Ukraine and the Ukrainian military as an American or at least Western proxy force.
This is since 2014.
Since 2014.
Basically, what the CIA
since the coup
instigated a coup. Is it like official that the CIA was involved, or is it just assumed?
I mean, they were certainly involved.
The
and there
level
were certainly
of
Western.
debated, yeah.
There were certainly Western assets involved. I mean, you can have a debate about who started it or who whether or not it was justified, but it certainly was U.S. supported.
And that blockaded and like hindered their ability to get oil into the Black Sea. So that's why he took Crimea almost instantly after that.
Well, it changed a lot of things, obviously, but they were looking at a situation where, remember, the Russian Black Sea Fleet, it's at that port of Sevastopol, has always been there, right? That's always been a Russian naval port, and that's their major port, their major Navy base on the Black Sea. So they were never going to give that up. They just weren't going to.
It's their only warm water port. It also grants them access to the Mediterranean.
Yeah, it's key.
Which causes issues with the Bosphorus in Turkey, because Turkey controls... It's Russia's already in a weakened position with that being
with Turkey being in NATO. I mean, how do they get through the Bosphorus?
Well, so I mean,
that's why they're taking Ukraine, so they can go over land.
If you need to get through the Bosphorus, just because Turkey says no, it doesn't mean you can't get through.
Yeah, I think there was a big issue with that because Russia did it. No, I think the U.S. did. Somebody was like, we don't care, and just went. And Turkey was like,
yeah, shipping routes, man. I think the Suez is also underrated. I think a big part of why the military buildup in the Middle East that the United States has been doing is to protect the Suez Canal and the shipping.
100%. But also look at, if you want to go through and actually look at what we can see, not the apocalyptic, version of Greta Thunberg climate change, but the actual climate change effects, that if you look at that Northern Sea route that's opening up across essentially the Arctic Ocean, Russia is a clear beneficiary of all of this, because you can make it from Dalian, China to Rottenburg, Denmark in like 2/3 the time or even half the time that you would need to go through the South China Sea and then the Suez Canal. If you cut that all around, that's the reason that Russia knows that going 15 years from now, they're going to be the ones in charge of that Northern Sea route.
I would advise anyone that's listening to the show to pull up like a map, a Google map or like some sort of map, and follow along. Yeah, because it's really cool when you type in the names of these places and you can understand geographically what's going on.
Well, thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. But if you want to check out the full show live, tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. And if you want more special access content, head over to timcast.com and become a member. Your membership helps sustain this company, keep our journalists employed, makes this show happen, and you will get access to exclusive members-only segments of the Timcast IRL podcast, and there's a massive library to check out. So again, go to timcast.com or tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., and we'll see you all there.